Honey, do you know where I put our favorite campsite? It's gotta be in here somewhere. There it is. Oh, I love this site. I remember going here as a kid. Gone are the days of packing up the car on a Friday after work and thinking that you're gonna find a campsite for the weekend. If you're looking to camp in an established campground, it's almost become mandatory to get reservations, especially in the summertime when school's out. Let's go over our top 5 types of campgrounds and campsites and how we find them. Number 1, state and national parks. Many of the first come, first served campsites have moved to a reservation model. There do still exist, but it's definitely not the norm. If you're wanting to get that great camp spot, the one that everybody loves by the lake, you're going to want to set your reminder on your calendar for when that reservation window opens. The national parks, state parks, they differ in time frames. I know Crater Lake, because we went there last year, it has a whole year in advance, whereas some of the local state parks, Oregon and Washington, it's like 6 months windows. We really like our local state parks. They have a cool junior ranger program. The kids can learn a little secret handshake after they filled out their booklet and make a little badge. Now that you've picked a spot to go, just know that each state is a little different. Washington has their own reservation system. Theirs is actually pretty cool. It's got a lot of detail for each site. If it's partial shade, if it's a popular site. Oregon uses Reserve America, which is nice. Nevada, of all places, doesn't even have a reservation system. Now that you've found your campground, you want to pick your favorite site. A lot of the times the campgrounds websites will have pictures of the actual campsite, but some of those are a little bit sketchy. We tend to use campsitephotos.com because a lot of times we'll just type in the campground and they have the photos of each site. So it's pretty awesome to be able to see a different point of view for maybe that site next to the lake isn't really the best one because the pit toilets are right there too. And another site, Campendium.com, they have reviews from other campers. One of the nice features is it actually tells you the cell service. So if you have AT&T, this campground might have 4 bars, but Verizon only 1, or 0 bars, who knows. Also, it's really nice because a lot of campers that review their sites, they have pictures on there so you can see photos of the campground and sites as well. Another option would be Google Maps. You can enter the campground in there and get some satellite views of it, see what the surrounding area. Like a business, there's a lot of times there's reviews and pictures that people have put up on there. You can also maybe get the little guy and put him in and see if there's a street view and see if you can see any glimpses of the campground as well. Number 2, U.S. Forest Service parks. Forest Service campgrounds are definitely a lot smaller than the state park. They have some amazing areas though. Since they are smaller, there's quite a few more of them. We found one of the most awesome sites at Waldo Lake. There was actually 3 Forest Service parks there. We actually ended up staying at Islay Campground, which is kind of typical of what a Forest Service park is. It's a ways from civilization, like an hour or so to the nearest grocery store. No cell service whatsoever. For Forest Service parks, they tend to be a little bit smaller. Sometimes the site itself is just barely big enough for 1 car. Definitely cater towards more the tent camping or van camping. They use the Recreation.gov. You can do it on the website. They actually have an app as well, which is pretty informative. The only thing that's kind of a downside, and this isn't the case of all their campgrounds, but a lot of them don't have pictures. So that's where the campsite photos comes in, or the Campendium comes in and helps you pick a site. Like at the state parks and national parks, the Forest Service has their own reservation window, so definitely make sure you check. That being said, their website is easy to use and easy to reserve. Number 3, county, city, local government campgrounds. County parks are a little bit harder to find, but that is actually maybe a good thing because harder to find means less competition. We were wanting to kayak the Columbia River and we were checking out Google Maps and zooming in on the marina, and we just happened to notice some RVs there in the parking lot, and come to find out it was actually a county park. So we were able to get a site and then camp and kayak as much as we wanted. Another county park that we stayed at out off of a reservoir, and it was pretty incredible. We had the whole section to ourselves. Number 4, private parks. Private RV parks, you have your different range. You have your really low end, which can be downright scary. We've driven by some that look like they had not been maintained in many, many years. And then you have your really high end ones, which are awesome, but of course there is some downside to that because they do have strict rules. One site actually said no RVs under 10 years old, but nice thing was it had a hot tub, really nice laundry facility, like a storage unit at your campsite, paved. So, and of course there's a higher cost for those higher end ones. So look at the reviews and before you reserve your site. Another type of private campground would be a KOA campground, which are really family oriented and have lots of activities. Some of them have swimming pools, little pizza parlors, and a lot more activities going on. So that's another type of campground that you could check out. Number 5, hipcamp.com. We haven't actually used it yet. We've checked it out. It is based on like privately owned land areas that you can, rent a spot. It's really like an Airbnb, but for camping. You can get a site next to the river, or you can get a site in a working farm. It's definitely a new kind of concept for camping. A lot like Airbnb, HipCamp looks very similar to their website. They have the map and the pricing very easily viewed. Another thing is that you really need to read the reviews for each site because, like Airbnb, there might be wording in there that says, maybe, maybe not. And it might be, yes, that looks like the place we want to definitely camp. So check out all the information you see on the site for that spot. If you're finding campsites in a different way, let us know in the comments below. Since we mentioned Waldo Lake, check out this video about how we defended ourselves against the blood-sucking mosquitoes. You can also find out more about us at exploretrekadventure.com, and we'll see you next time.